Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, the male soap opera moment, because wrestling is the best soap opera on the telly. And with me is the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci.
Yes. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. Sadly, I can no longer call myself the King in Gold because if you saw our live SummerSlam Boochcast Twitch, which I apologize for, I did lose to Elvis in that, so I don't have two belts with me. But here on the Male Soap Opera Moment, I am still the champ, and the Wenz must still acknowledge me as still, by 1 point, by the skin of my teeth. It was a hell of a fight, but in the end, I once again prevail.
You know, Booch, not everyone wants to sit at the head of the table. Okay, some of us like the side seat because it's closer to the dessert bar. You know what I'm saying? But I will acknowledge you. You are the just victor of SummerSlam predictions. But I feel the tide is turning here because behind me, Booch, you see a background of rules based off of extremities. Wait, yeah, I guess you could say that. But I gotta be honest with you. Before we get to extreme rules, I have a confession to make, Booch.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
I'm not feeling the heat. I'm not feeling the same amount of anticipation that I felt at SummerSlam. And I understand that SummerSlam's one of the big four, and there's reason to be super excited about one of those.
Yeah.
But I look at this card, Booch, and I'm seriously trying to conjure up a passion that just isn't there. And it's not because of the wrestlers involved. It goes much deeper than that. And we're going to get into the depths of that chasm and abyss in the Wenz's soul as it pertains to wrestling here in a moment. But before we get that, I want to acknowledge you. You did win. You won fair and square, 7-6, one of the closest competitions we've had in, I would say, easily 6-7 months.
God knows how long. And it was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun because usually we've had ones where both of us, like Money in the Bank, that was a victory, but that was like a 3-2 because we were way off on victories. The people we thought were going to cash in didn't.
Yeah.
So that kind of, which is why I like the fact that we only picked one person in those matches because it makes it easier to combat than if we just pick 2 or 3 people, then it wouldn't be as fun. So I like the dynamic of our prediction pick, but this one was like solid, like back and forth. Holy crap. Who's going to take this one? Swerves, craziness. So this is one win I can actually enjoy. And I'm really not trying to rub it in your face when I say that. I'm just making a point that it was that competitive to where I'm proud of this win when I wasn't as proud of wins I've had in the past.
Mm-hmm. You called a lot right. You called one more right than I. But here we are. I got Lashley right. You got Flair right. I got Reigns right. Neither of us got Bianca Belair right. That was a wild card.
Yeah, we were texting each other during that because it was like, okay. And here's the thing I want to say about that.
Yeah, we definitely can get into that right here and right now. Let's do it.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not mad that Becky Lynch came back. I thought it was a shocker. Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad that she's the champion. That's not my issue. If it was a competitive, back and forth, knockdown, drag them out match, and in the end, Becky Lynch won the title, I'd have been happy with that. It was the fact that it ended in like 15 seconds.
26.
46. Okay, 46 seconds.
26.
26, sorry. 26 seconds. And they did Bianca like that. Like, she was an amazing champion, amazing in the ring. This was quite possibly one of the best title runs with a women's title in God knows how long. They had her and Sasha tore the house down at WrestleMania. We're going to see another match of the two of them we thought at SummerSlam, and we get this. Like, Bianca deserved way better than that. And that was one of the worst booking decisions in the world. Shock value or not, Bianca didn't deserve that, and the fans didn't. The fans in that stadium didn't deserve that either.
I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely fell off the couch when I heard the man coming down the tunnel. And when she gets in the ring, Bianca, the way she sells it, first of all, was just brilliant. At first, it's like, oh my gosh. And then it's a smile of realizing like, I actually get to wrestle the man and I get to put this title on the line right here, right now in front of thousands in attendance and millions at home. And then 30 seconds later, everybody's looking around. There's a trend on Twitter. Bianca deserves better because she did, Booch. She did, and she still does. And I can only hope as we approach Extreme Rules that they do her better than that. And by the way, that doesn't serve Becky Lynch either. It doesn't put her up on a pedestal to bring her back in such an awesome way. And then 30 seconds later, have her be the champion. It's not even believable, Booch. They have literally made Bianca Belair look weak. And is that what you want? Is that what you want as a champion? Is that what you want? And this just goes into the disinterest part, Booch. This is why I'm having trouble. This is one of the many variables involved right now of why I'm having trouble getting excited about these things, because there was no build, even on delivery. I get it. A comeback doesn't have a story, right? I get it. But tell a quick one. 20 bit longer than 26 seconds though. And the looks on the people sitting there in attendance were looks of first there's shock and then there's just disgust of like, who in the writer's room thought that was a good idea? And who didn't have the guts, as Mick Foley would say, the intestinal fortitude to stand up in that room and say, no, and I don't care what Vince or Pat or anybody else says right now. This is not going to pan out well for either of these competitors. And the universe reacted instantly. And there was nobody that could defend it. Nobody. I looked for the defenders, not one to be found on the socials. And there's good reason for that.
There is. Like, that was one of the worst calls you could make. And I got to believe, and it was either Vince or it was Bruce. One of them thought that was a good idea. And I think the goal was to try to turn Becky Lynch heel, to which I reply, first of all, why? Why does she need to be heel? Second of all, it doesn't work if the crowd's not booing. Like, that's the thing that a lot of the creative people don't understand, and what a lot of fans in the stands don't understand either. If someone's acting like a heel and you're cheering them, you're not helping that person do their job. That's the opposite of what they want. You're basically embarrassing someone at their job. That's the equivalent of cheering a heel. It's like going to someone's job and embarrassing them, because that's what they have to do. That's why people get mad when they see heels doing something that's like over the top, controversial or offensive, or, triggers people. Mm-hmm. It's because they have no choice.
Yeah.
You back them into a corner where they have to cross lines that you think are unacceptable to cross. And I don't necessarily mean you personally, I mean you as a generalization, that sure. Fans that you think is so inappropriate because they have to get their heat. And you back them into a corner where that's the only way they can get it, because they can't get it the normal way, because you're cheering the fact, oh, he's a great heel. It's like that. So for Becky, it doesn't work. And I see her out there trying. She's trying to get heat, but it's not working because fans don't want to hate her.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't bring somebody back after having a baby. And here's the thing. Let's go back to it. Let's just hit the heart of the matter right here, Booch. And I'm tired of tap dancing around it. We have more than ever more access to information than we did growing up watching the WWF. On those days, it was who you knew around the block. Maybe you knew somebody who knew somebody that knew something. But more than anything, it was periodicals you bought at the newspaper stand, Wrestling Digest or whatever WWF at the time was writing. Yeah. And even then, I don't even know what perspective that was from. Was it from, obviously the secret was still kept back then. It was from a mark standpoint. It was from a fan standpoint. But the problem is right now, and this is an unintended consequence of all that we want as human beings. We want as much info as possible as soon as we can get it, because we want to be the smartest person in the room. And so what they're not doing right now is taking that into account in the way that they write the stories and create and book the matches. And we don't have time right now to invest in storylines that they're not giving us time to be emotionally invested in. Like, it would have been something for them I get the shock value of the pop. Oh my God. That's great. It's
Yeah.
cool. But it would have been cooler to have like updates every now and then, like, hey, Becky Lynch is definitely going to be back, you know, or do something with her in terms of like you do something on the website where there's an article written and she's just motherhood is kind of bring her real life into her character. Motherhood has given her a different perspective on competition and life and how it is, you know, mother hen, like, you know, you cross me, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat your babies, bitch. That kind of stuff. Like, that's what I want to see out of a heel, but you can't bring her back spontaneously and then do this 30 seconds later and then expect us to buy it and to be involved emotionally because we knew she had a baby. We know that we didn't know that they were going to turn her heel and flip this whole thing on it. And then I don't know what Brother Love is thinking backstage, but it's not working there, bro. Take a step back, you know, and look at the read the room, find the pulse, like you said. And that's an unintended consequence of these blurred lines where they pull a switch on us and they're like, Becky's a heel now. Don't cheer for that. You love Bianca, but you loved Becky before. And then Becky got pregnant and then she had a baby. And we didn't really think about this. Like, more than anything, Booch, this is just a microcosm of the problem. And it's, again, it's these storylines that don't make sense because they either one of two paths that the WWE takes. They either beat a damn dead horse until it's dead 3 times and keep regurgitating the same storyline and the same conflicts and beefs and such to the point where it's like, not this again, the 3rd pay-per-view in a row. These guys are fighting. I'm sick of it. I'm over. I don't even care who wins. I'm not invested. Or they find something brilliant and then they abandon it before it really hatches. The Hurt Business, great example. So you expect me to believe that one RKO broke the guy's ribs? Like, it's like, I get it if it's an Mr. Fuji, you know, or somebody like really, I know he's dead, but you know, you get the point. Like, but that's MVP. Like, we know he's competing. Like, we know he's probably doing stuff with UCW and that's why he's rated. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's these inconsistencies and they're like looking at us like we're not doing the research. Like, we're the educated fans now. We have the access to the information. And because of that, you should write stories that reflect that. But they dumb it down to the point where it's like they won't notice. They don't care. They don't know. They don't remember that Becky was a good guy. They're just excited about Becky coming back. And then how does Bianca as a competitor, I know she's playing her part, but like, man, I don't know. I got to put up a fight if I'm her before that match. And I'm like, this is how this is going to happen. You're going to give me a rematch at Extreme Rules that I'm going to lose anyway. Okay. I don't know. I'm just obviously frustrated, Booch, and I'm trying to find a reason to stay with WWE because I gotta be honest, man. I'm thinking about jumping ship onto the AEW train.
You're not the only one. So many wrestlers have already left. Like, CM Punk showed up in AEW and flipped everything, came back, and Daniel Bryan's there now.
Is he really?
Daniel Bryan's there now.
Wow, what is he? What's his name? Is it Daniel Bryan?
It's Bryan Danielson, which was
his real name, right?
Yeah, Bryan Danielson. Mm-hmm. And even in NXT, we lost Adam Cole. Adam Cole's over there now.
Wow.
They are, and Ruby Riott, she's there.
I liked her. The Riot Squad, yeah.
Soho, but she's now everyone's jumping to AEW. Like, Vince let a bunch of people go, and AEW is just sitting and waiting for those non-compete clauses to expire. And then Tony Khan's going to grab all those guys. And then Vince is in trouble. Like, it's a serious issue that they're not addressing. Because at the time, AEW wasn't a threat. They've now become a threat.
Yeah. On the night of SummerSlam.
To the point where, Vince, they're even talking about Vince and Bruce taking over NXT and not even letting Triple H use it anymore.
Well, didn't H have some health problems or something? Isn't he? He's dealing with something.
Yeah, but it looks like it might be a permanent thing where Vince and Bruce are going to be more hands-on with NXT because they blame Triple H for them losing the war to AEW.
But see, I think that's passing the buck. And because I think the war is won and lost in the trenches, and the trenches are Raw and SmackDown. And dude, as somebody who I consider myself beyond casual, right? Because I try to find out what's going on next, and I do some digging and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm at that point, Booch, where it's just like, again, abandoned storylines because you let Bray Wyatt go, and now you still are throwing Alexa Bliss, masquerading her as this character that was based around Bray Wyatt's character, and he's not even on the promotion anymore. And it's like, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not working. Abandon, jump ship, start over. And this draft is their last hope. This draft coming up, in my view, is their last bastion. But I fear more of the same. They're going to make the same mistakes on different shows. If the only way that they can make this right is to do some serious things at Extreme Rules, which we'll get to here in a moment. But even I'm like, why expect them to exceed my expectations? Because they've done nothing but let me down. And I'm just like, at this point, they have to right the ship at Extreme Rules, or they're going to lose another portion of their share. Yeah. It's apparent.
Yeah, it even got to the point where just to get a rating spike, they had Big E win the title. He had him cash in on Lashley.
Yep.
What I thought was I heard it was originally supposed to happen at the draft. That was the original plan. But then they fast forwarded things when they saw, again, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole all going to AEW. They're being featured in prominent roles on the show, and fans are tuning in to see that.
Yeah.
And AEW is slowly starting to get their shit together because they're realizing now that they have stars and actual wrestlers coming in, they can get rid of these indie darlings that were given a chance and simply did not deliver, and put them to the back of the line where they're supposed to be. Because they had their chance, and a lot of them, some of them rose to the top, and the rest of them proved they don't have what it takes. And now that big stars are coming in, they're starting to get flushed out. And all I can say is, and for some of them, it's about damn time they got flushed out. It was pissing me off watching them desecrate the ring. So
yeah, I mean, and that's the battle. And it's like, I don't know what Vince's plan is. I don't even know if Vince knows what Vince's plan is. I mean, the guy is old. Can we just acknowledge that? This Vince McMahon that we remember, Mr. Grapefruits, walking down there to the squared circle, welcome, you're fire, all that, like the brilliance of Mr. McMahon. The dude's in his 70s. Like, am I wrong?
No, he's there.
That's what I'm saying. And so
high 70s.
I mean, that's the thing. And you can't, time is undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. And so who is going to be the ambassador? Shane is doing his own thing. I liked when Shane was involved. I liked it. And I didn't like him doing that. Right. Who doesn't? And that's the thing. It's like, do what works. Like, why are they, it's like they have every resource available. They have the namesake. When people think wrestling, they think WWE or WWF, as some would call it, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
For the whole Monopoly thing years ago. But that's what's missing. Like they're too big to fail, as Eric Von Hessler would say. And that's the problem. And now you have people with some sense who are, what, Vince Russo, a part of AEW now, talking to them. So you have all these old heads from the old school back in the Attitude Era and the days in WCW of NWO, WCW, and then you had DX with WWF, and you have all these people that know how to work it. And I think AEW is the future because we're already seeing it. They, like you said, they pivoted, which is what I'm calling for, a pivot, but they have to pivot before it's necessary. Like, they can't do that and then expect people to immediately buy in. Like, I'm a huge fan of Big E winning. Like, I like Lashley, but I think Big E has done way more, infinitely more for WWE than Bobby Lashley has. And nobody can argue with that. The New Day are family-friendly, merch-selling icons. They represent all that is right with the world. Teamwork, unity, fun, silliness. Like, and it works. And at first I didn't buy in. I was one of their biggest haters. And then they wore me down because I was like, man, they're throwing pancakes. All right, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
You guys are cool. Like, this is fun. And
It
they were
worked.
silly and it works. But now it's like they have literally changed course based off a reactionary position on their competition.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what's next? Like, because I want to see what's next, and we're looking at what's next at Extreme Rules. So Booch, let's get to it. I have opined enough here, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we've lost nearly everybody.
Well, before we get to Extreme Rules, as you know, I have my usual gripes, and I do have a major gripe with this
Not
paper.
not this again.
Not that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Believe me, I'll have some things to say. But here's what I've noticed. This is Extreme Rules. Not one match that I see has a stipulation.
Where are the kendo sticks? Where is Steve Blackman?
There's nothing. There's no cage match. There's no Extreme Rules match. There's no holds barred. Falls count anywhere. Nothing.
Lame.
Nothing.
Again.
There's not what is extreme about this pay-per-view other than, oh, you got Jeff Hardy. That's about it.
We'll see some chairs and some ladders and blah, 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 blah.
Put it, it's like it's a triple threat match, which, oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I rephrase. There is one Extreme Rules match. One violent match on a whole card that's supposed to be extreme. Oh my God, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's ridiculous. They're not even trying anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the point. They're not even trying anymore. And it's like, to me as a fan, okay, cool. Like, if that's the way you want to do it, fine. But now you have to accept the consequence that, like, I'm flicking the channel and I'm checking out AEW and I might not come back because my time is limited and I love wrestling. It's not about WWE or WCW back in the 90s and early 2000s. It's not about the promotion. It's about the story. It's always been about the story. And that's what I tell people that I talk to nowadays that say, man, yeah, I listen to the male soap opera moment. I just don't get into wrestling now. And I ask, well, why not? Right? It's just different. It's not what it was. They used to tell a story and they used to get me. Like, and they get you emotionally and you're connected, either one side or the other. Like, it's cool to have people that cheered for Goldberg when he was going against NWO. Like, they made video games, they made promotions out of that, WCW versus NWO, and it was profitable. And it was like, cool, let's divide the brand. Great, but let's make it work. And they made it work. And now these people that made that work are on Team AEW and they're in the room and they're creating the stories and then the seats are filling. And I know we're seeing some rating shifts, and this last week, Raw took the cake. Sure. But I'm just telling you, and this is some foreshadowing, that this is what we're going to see. The slow fade. And eventually there is going to have to, something is going to happen. There has to be a Reva freaking Lucian in WWE to keep it on the map. And it has to start this weekend. It has to start at Extreme Rules, and I'm hopeful. I don't want them to fail. Like, I want them to succeed because I know all the wrestlers on these cards. Like, I don't want to have to start over. It's like dating a new girl, right? It's like, man, now I have to find out. I can't fart in front of her. Like, I'm not going to eat chicken wings, at least for the first month, But and that's the way I feel about following AEW. It's like, I don't know anything about these other than John Moxley used to be Dean Ambrose and CM Punk, and even his reemergence wasn't. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I want to go to AEW now because CM Punk's there. Like, I didn't care when he was on WWE. I'm not a CM Punker. I don't care. I didn't care for the whole straight edge thing. I was like, self-righteousness. You can have that. That's cool. That's your thing. That's your shtick. And he got a great following for it. But for me, I'm not there for that. I'm not there for CM Punk. But if CM Punk is telling a story, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
He's telling a story. And that's way more than WWE is doing. So let's get to it, Booch. Before we get to those picks, great point. And I couldn't agree more. But before we get to our picks for Extreme Rules. You said you would bring it up, and I'm going to hold you to it. You picked her last time, and you were right to pick her.
Yes, I did. I picked her because I knew it. I knew the Queen of Privilege was going to get her title back. And I love the fact that Alexa Bliss, like her promo on Raw is why I'm now excited for their match. Because she said, "Who are you without that title?" And of course, Charlotte had her smart ass answer, "You're never gonna find out." Blah blah blah. It was a good comeback. Good comeback. But that's the truth. That's the difference with most wrestlers. There are wrestlers who want to be the champion, and when they win that title, it's an amazing feeling. But there are others who need it, and if they don't have it, they can't draw money. And that's the harsh reality with Charlotte Flair. That is what they've done with her by giving her this privilege. And we're not going to get into this on the show, but I'm going to make this one little drop here just to make my point finally. If you need proof that the Flair name brings privilege, watch the plane ride from hell on Dark Side of the Ring, and you will know everything you need to know about the Flair name and privilege. We're not going to get into it on this show. We only got the time, but I was going to say, if you saw that, you know exactly why I call Charlotte Flair the Queen of Privilege. You know firsthand why that is a privileged name that will hand you anything you want in this business on a silver platter. It is proof right there that name in WWE has merit, it has privilege, and it lets you get away with damn near anything. That is why I detest Charlotte Flair, because her name gave her things she didn't have to work for.
All right, let me ask you this. I've wanted to know this for some time, and I've never asked you this. But what if, Booch? I want you to give this your best shot. All right. What if they booked her differently? What if her character was like very humble and like, "Hey, listen, I know what my last name is. I'm aware. Okay. You guys are aware too. You're very smart." Again, give the audience their due. They know it. And then approach the ring that way. And like every time she won, she's like, I know that some may think, but look at me, look at my tapes, look at me practicing. Like I'm in the ring. Like, what if they booked her like that? Would you feel differently about that? Or is there no hope?
Probably. If they had booked her differently, probably. And I'll give the best example. Dominic Mysterio is your best example of that. Think about it. He's the son of Rey Mysterio. So automatically, he skipped NXT, went to the main roster. But the way he's booked, they're not booking him like he's this dominant person. He becomes his own person. He has some elements of Rey, but he's his own man. He goes in that ring. He can wrestle. He can fight. He's not being pushed to the moon. He wins some. He loses some. He's had one title. What was it? A tag team title with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't thrust him, even though the closest he got to the WWE title was they put him in a tournament and Seth Rollins disposed of him, as well he should have.
Right.
He ain't ready for that. He ain't about that life yet. Okay? It took his dad forever to be a world champion. He ain't circumventing that anytime soon. But that's not to say that down the road he couldn't win it. But now is not the time to thrust him in there. They are doing the right thing with Dominic because they are building up his reputation. And then eventually, once he's got enough wins under his belt, once he's paid enough dues, once he's gotten enough respect and admiration, and that time comes for him to be the Universal or WWE champion, he will have earned it because he wasn't there since day one-ish. So he's building a reputation, whether he does it babyface or even if he turns heel. Like I said before, I'd love to see Dominic turn heel and give himself the last name Guerrero. That would push him to the damn moon.
Again,
it'll never happen.
The fact that I know, but that's the thing. Like, why not? Like, why can't it? Why can't somebody think creatively and think like, whoa, what if we brought back Latino heat with Ray's son, and then he creates his own faction. Like they don't that, but see, that's the problem. You can't talk sense into the writer's room because they know everything there is to know about wrestling, and you can't tell me how to book a match. You can't tell me how to write a story. And that's, I'm telling you, there's got to be this spirit of pride in that writer's room, because if there wasn't, we would see different ideas. It's not hard. It's just like, hey, what do the fans want to see? What do we want to dangle in front of them for X amount of time, and then let them have it when the time is right? Let them have it.
Time is right.
But see, but let me disagree with you. I'm not gonna play Mark to all of your antics, Booch. I know you are the wrestling encyclopedia, and I know you're way more in the wrestling game than I am, admittedly, and that's fine, and I'm cool with that. But she can't help who she is. She can't help how they book her. And I'll bet you, when they decided who Charlotte Flair was going to be, that she would have loved to have been over instantly and been like the girl from Charlotte, North Carolina that worked her way up. Her daddy is the 16-time, two-time Hall of Famer. But here's this little low girl. She's going to work her way up. I know who my daddy is. That doesn't make me who I am. Yeah, I'll take my daddy on one-on-one. Like, that's the kind. But they don't think that. You can't blame her for their lack of vision. And I'm telling you, it's as simple as that. And it's been shown over and over and over again. And Charlotte Flair was pushed too soon, not her fault. Booked the wrong way, not her fault. And now people like you, who are educated wrestling fans, despise her, and none of it is her fault. None of it.
Like I said, and I've said this before too, I could meet her in person one day and she might be the sweetest person I ever met. I might actually think she's cool. And that's fine. But my job as a wrestling analyst is to call it like I see it, and that's what I'm doing. So it's not like other people in the business that I don't like, where there's a personal issue attached to it.
Oh, here we go with the Miz. Here we go with the Miz story.
I'm not going to go there. And there's other people besides the Miz that have pissed me off personally. But my issue with Charlotte is all business. It's all business with her, because I never met her in person. I don't know if she's a great person or if she's a total bitch. I don't know. Never met her. My issue with Charlotte is all business. And that's what separates it from people like The Miz, people like Ricky Steamboat, people like Chase Stevens, those guys who I can't stand personally and professionally. But Charlotte, it's all business with her. So I'll clarify that right now. It is business. So like I said, if I met her in person, I think she's awesome. I'll be like, yeah, she cool. I'll send her a Christmas card. But it's still not good for the business in the ring to bury the whole women's division underneath her.
She's just, again, it goes so much further down the rabbit hole than her. And it's like, she is just, she's a symptom of the sickness. That character that she carries with her. That's a symptom of the WWE leadership. I'm bundling everybody. I'm bundling the suits. I'm bundling the investors. I'm bundling the writers' room, the Levesque, McMahon's, all of them, and all the consultants and the creative minds, everybody involved, because that's how you have to think if you want to win in business. We are a team. And when one aspect of our team is not doing well, we have to fix it. Exactly. And writing and booking is the most glaring hole. And I, for the life of me, cannot put it together. I just cannot put it together. And I'm hoping they do, because like I said, I'm right here. And it's like a couple more of these months of stagnant booking and predictable crap, and I just might flick the channel and stop recording Raw. And this might be a podcast about AEW, which I'm fine with. But I also want to give them a chance to do the right thing and keep people like us on board. Absolutely. So with that said, I'm thinking positive, the power of positivity. Like Big E would say, what would Big E do? If I had a bracelet, WWBED, what would Big E do? I
Yeah.
love Jesus too, but you know, it's
Yeah.
cool to see what Big E would do.
I want us to be positive because he's the champ, right?
Yeah.
Turn things
Be
around.
power of positivity
Yeah, let's give him
because
a shot.
new
Let's give him a shot.
day rocks. And I hope that Extreme Rules rocks. So here we go. Let's look at it. Here's an instant fail. How they're going to book Finn Balor. The first match we're going to talk about. It's another glaring example of why it's hard to be positive. But let's do it. I'll power through. We're going to have to power through because my lunch break's almost over. But let's talk about this. He's going up against the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, as the demon Finn Balor. He's had pretty good success as the demon character.
Yes.
But Booch, I got to tell you, man, I don't think he's winning this match. And the demon's going to get buried, and it shouldn't because it's just reemerged. But again, it's just another symptom of the sickness. So that's my prediction. I predict that Roman Reigns wins this match. What say you?
I thought this was going to be an easy one to call, but then my encyclopedia brain started ticking and it made it tougher. Because as we already know next month, we got Roman and Brock at Crown Jewel. So the question is, will the title be on the line? I got a feeling yes. But
Why say that when he's fighting for the title this weekend? You've literally already told me that Roman Reigns is going to win this match.
Yeah.
Because why would they fight?
Like,
how can a title not be on the line at Crown Jewel? Like this is like, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going off the rails here, but this is deserved. Crown Jewel to me is like when you live in Columbus, Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And WrestleMania, or heck, this is actually more appropriate, a house show, a dark match in Atlanta is there, and you have to find a way to get there. It's 4 hours away and you don't have a car.
Yeah.
There's going to be a title on the line, or there should be. Exactly. This is Crown Jewel for that community over there is everything. This is their once a year opportunity to see these people compete. And it's beautiful. And I wish that they would, I don't know, the women thing, you know how I feel about that. I'm not a fan of the way they see women because I love women. I think they're amazing. I love women. But you know what I mean? Yeah. They deserve respect. And I don't feel like that culture or perhaps gives it to them in the way that we're used to here in America.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's a very, 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 as we say in the business, slow burn to make it happen.
Stacey Musgraves would say.
It's just not happening as fast as we would like it to.
Yeah.
But there is some progress, but still a lot of work to be done. They did last time there was a women's match. They were just very covered up, except for their hair, which shocked me. But so at least they had one women's match. So we might get another one, maybe. But there is some progress being made. It's just not moving as fast as morally it should move.
Sure. Agreed. Again, we went off the rails there. What did your encyclopedia brain tell you, Booch? I'm sorry, I always interrupt you.
Like we said, Roman and Brock. So it's telling me, okay, Roman's gonna go for the title, but
right.
Finn Balor's the demon. Finn Balor has beaten Roman Reigns in the past, so it's not like this is a small guy going up against Roman. Finn Balor's beaten Roman Reigns before, not for a title, but he's beaten him. So there is a possibility he could win. But then I try to take Survivor Series into account, which is Raw versus SmackDown, which is why I wasn't as excited as I was to see Big E win the title. I wish he hadn't done it so soon because I wanted Lashley to still be champ going into this Survivor Series. Because then you can have Brock versus Lashley, which is what everybody wanted to see at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
So I was hoping for that. So now I'm thinking, is Lashley going to win the title back from Big E? Is it going to be a transitional thing? Or is Big E going to go against Brock Lesnar? And if he does, are they going to have an actual fight or is it going to be Suplex City? I don't know how they want to do it.
You aren't thinking the way that they do. They're thinking, all right, what's the fastest, quickest way we can book all the talent at once? Triple threat match at Crown Jewel. I'm calling it right now. There's no way that this is going to be one-on-one. It'll be...
Well, here's the problem. It's an Extreme Rules match. So there's got to be a winner. They can't DQ, count out, none of that.
What I'm saying is at Crown Jewel, we'll see a triple threat match.
Probably.
That's what, but because they're lazy, because those triple threat matches are either a crowded room or lazy booking because you just they won't lose face. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So,
but yeah,
I'm going with you. I think the head of the table is retaining, and then Brock's going to take it at Crown Jewel. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the SmackDown, the Blue Brand Women's Championship. We talked about Bianca Belair. We talked about Becky Lynch, how she won it. This match better freaking deliver. And it better deliver. And I don't care who wins. I don't. I would like to see Bianca is not losing this match. My prediction is Becky Lynch wins this match. Unless, and this is the only caveat to that, they move Bianca Belair to Raw and make her the face of Raw. That's the only way Bianca Belair wins this match. And it's possible. It could happen. And if I have to choose, I still have to say Becky Lynch wins this match.
I do too. I think they're going to do Bianca dirty, and she'll probably end up going to Raw, maybe fight for the Raw Women's title up there. That's probably what'll happen. So Becky's going to retain.
Speaking of the Raw Women's title, there happens to be one on the line, Booch. I don't know if you knew that or not.
As
your girl, your favorite, the True Flair, Charlotte, takes on Alexa Bliss again. The stupid dolls and I don't know, just not into it. It's hokey. Hokey is the right word. I'm sorry for all of you Virginia Techians, but hokey. It's hokey. Charlie, Lily. It's not an AT&T commercial. Well, Charlie is Charlotte's little doll that she got from Alexa.
Yeah.
But it's just stupid. See, this is why it's like, yeah. That's the response. That is the response to this story. And it's just like,
it's weird. It's very weird, but Alexa is, I will give credit where it's due. She is doing the best she can.
Oh, she's riding.
To make
she's
chicken
riding
salad.
it. Yeah. Cheers to her. I'm not, listen, I am not at all. I want people to understand this. I am not, unlike you, Booch, who throws literal mud on Charlotte Flair for the way they book her. I am not throwing any dirt or water mixture, or Georgia Clay for that matter, at Alexa Bliss. Not her fault. She's doing the best she's told. God only knows the conversation she has on her private cell phone with friends and family. And like, I cannot wait till they drop this. Like, I'm so over this. I would rather be a cheerleader back in NXT because that would be more beneficial. She could team up this whole thing with Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley. It doesn't make any sense. Put ASH together with Alexa Bliss. That makes sense to me. You could have an almost superhero, like a dark superhero with Alexa Bliss. If you're not trying to abandon the dark gimmick, okay, fine. I can live with that. But pivot a little bit. Put her together with ASH and make this like almost superhero goon squad, kind of like they tried to do with a Riot Squad. And again, abandoned gimmick. If we win, we riot. I love that. That was smart. Like, it's like, wait a minute. Wait, if I lose, I riot. No, if we win, it's a celebration. But again, you released one of the founder. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling how they don't seize opportunities. But this is another one that I look at. And I think now, if they do this right, Alexa Bliss walks out Sunday night as Raw Women's Champion. And I am going out on a limb here, and I will probably regret this because I regret nearly all of my picks against you, Booch. But I am going to say right here, right now in Wenz World, that Alexa Bliss is your new Raw Women's Champion.
I swear I'm not doing this on purpose, but I honestly feel the same way.
Good. I'm glad you feel the same way. I'm not even mad.
I was going to roll the dice with Alexa too, because I feel like the promo's too good. She's getting really over. And if they want to keep this thing going, she's got to win. Otherwise, kill the gimmick. You might as well kill it because you already killed it when Orton won at Mania. So if Charlotte does this gimmick overall is dead if Alexa does not walk out with the title. Yeah. Especially with, you could have Lily have a little belt around her waist as well and still play the mind games. It can work.
They can make it work, but they need to think creatively. and just stop making this look so stupid. Like the more I watch this promotion, the dumber I feel. Cause I'm like, do they really think I'm that dumb? Like, do they? Because that's freaking disrespectful.
It really is.
Because if I have a freaking phone, I have every conceivable match available to me, available on YouTube. Then I have all the dirt sheets. Then I have all the WWE.com official terminology and propaganda and all the stuff that they put on there. It's like, dude, I have access to even the way you're thinking right now, and you don't even. It's crazy. I'm sorry. I'm going off the rails here. Let's keep it moving. Okay. United States Championship on the line. Damian Priest. I love this guy as champion. He's like, he's not ashamed to be American. I love that. I love that he's just like, yeah, I'm all about it. Which is kind of cool. He mixed in, he's kind of like an American badass for those of you who are trying to find that likeness to a previous character. He's got a little Hardy in him. It's just this hybrid of like different kind of wrestler. But of course, he's taking on Sheamus and the aforementioned Jeff Hardy. Triple threat match, United States Championship. Booch, I'm gonna let you pick first. Go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna be honest. I think Damian Priest is gonna retain. I don't see him dropping the belt anytime soon. I don't think Sheamus is gonna win it back. And I'm hearing conflicting stories about Jeff Hardy. Some say he might be leaving soon. That or fans want to see him leave soon. And quite frankly, so do I. So I'm going with Damian Priest. I think he's gonna retain.
Agreed. Too early to strip him. Way too early. Let's see how this guy develops. He's good on the mic. He's developing on the mic. I won't say he's good, but he's getting there. And he's huge, man. Like, this is a guy who could be United States champion now, but maybe down the line, Intercontinental. Never know. Could develop into Universal talent. This is how these things go if they don't squander his talent. The big if. Every WWE shirt should come with an asterisk and the word if. SmackDown Tag Team Championship on the line as the Usos take on the challenger Street Profits. The Usos are winning this match. There's no way that they lose, in my opinion. But what say you, Booch?
Well, I'm a fan of the Usos. Everybody knows that. But I love me some Street Profits. I am so glad they're back on the tag team scene. I don't know why they've been off TV. They are the most entertaining tag team. And I think we're going to see eventually slowly but surely a Roman Empire decline or a bloodline decline. So I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to say the Street Profits are going to become the tag team champions. I think.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for them to do it.
Yes.
I would like to see it, but I think that the Usos retain. But hopefully I'm wrong. Liv Morgan, speaking of the Riot Squad, taking on Carmella here. Again, a lack of build, a lack of passion, a lack of any kind of like long story. It doesn't make that much sense. They've had maybe 2 or 3 matches. But again, you have to sell me on this. I just don't know that they've even sold me enough in the ring in the time that they've fought. I mean, they're never like storied matches even. There's no build. Again, just reiterating the point, somebody has to hear this. But for the sake of picking a competitor here, I'm going to go with, I'd like to see Carmella win, but I think they're going to push Liv Morgan, and she's due as well. So this is a win-win no matter who wins, but I think Liv Morgan wins this match.
Me too. I was literally just writing that down. Like, Liv Morgan is winning this, but basically this is the match where if you have to go to the bathroom or have a cigarette or use your cell phone, this is the match to do it on. And no, I'm not saying it because they're women. I'm saying it because, as Wenz said, there was no build. There's no emotional investment. This match is literally just there. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the pre-show match.
I wouldn't be surprised if this match is less than a minute long. And it shouldn't be less. It should be a minute max because you haven't given it a minute of build.
Well, it depends. It depends on how late you put the match in. If If it's later in the show, you may want to make it a little bit longer because some people may need to sit on the toilet. So don't make it a minute because
I was going to say, based off their previous matches, don't plan on having a heart-to-heart with any of your friends and family because it's going to be a short combo.
Exactly.
But so let's go back through them, Booch. We made our picks here. We both picked Liv Life to win against Carmella. We differ on the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You're taking the Street Profits. I'm rolling with the Usos. In that one, we both take Damian Priest to retain as United States Champion. Taking a look at the Red Brand women's side. Both of us going with Little Miss Bliss here. So that'll be interesting. Let's see how that pans out. SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm taking Becky Lynch. Did you decide to roll with a man?
Yes, we both are going with Becky, and then we both got the Tribal Chief.
Yep, that's it. So let's see. Sunday night, Booch. I'll be on the Twitter sphere. I'll be looking at your feed. For whatever reason, the Twitch feed is like stalled or delayed because whenever I try to comment, it feels like I'm like 10 minutes behind or something.
Well, that was for SummerSlam. My buddy Elvis was using using his laptop, and sometimes, and where he lives in Canton, and sometimes the Wi-Fi reception's not as good, or something's wrong with his laptop. We're trying to fix it. But that's not even the worst part about the stream. The worst part was our buddy Zach was there, and he got plastered, like, because he doesn't know how to pace himself when he drinks.
Nice.
And if you listen to the show, you can hear him snoring on the live stream because he passed out.
He didn't make it in time for the matches. That stinks.
He passed out in the middle of the show, and we didn't talk for about a week because I verbally laid into him about how pissed off I was that he embarrassed the stream.
I don't think it was a big deal. I think that's good. Now, see, that's good media. You always got to have the drunk guy in the background snoring.
Yes.
That's a good sounder. Well, Booch, we will never, ever, ever leave an episode of the male soap opera moment here in Wenz World without a couple key catchphrases. One of which is, have a nice day.
The other is, bang, bang.